Hello guys, Jackalope24 or Zarno4 on YouTube here, and today I'm going to be giving you my October 2014 ban list discussion. So, I'm just going to be giving my review on a bunch of fairly common and some uncommon cards that people like to side deck this format, and meant to kill the big three decks, Shaddoll, Satellarknight, and Burning Abyss. So let's get started. First card of the day, Mind Crush. This card is really good against any deck that searches, which is mostly these two. Forgive me, but I haven't been playing in this format very much. Shaddolls don't search as much as far as I know, but the card is still pretty good against them. So, a good side deck card. I've seen some people main decking this. I might main deck it at 1 or 2 if I was going to, but no more than that. And depending on what you're playing, if you're playing one of the big 3 decks, I would definitely side this at 2 or 3 at most, because, not 1, if you're playing one of the big 3, because those tiny little advantages help you, and you can't use some of these cards because they would kill your deck as well. Second card of the day, Lightmere. This one only really applies to Satellarknight, but both of these have an extra deck card that's a light, but I don't really think that they are quite enough to side Lightmere versus the decks. Maybe versus Burning Abyss, because Dante's a light. So Lightmere, depends on how scared you are of your Satellarknight matchup. Sorry, if you have a bad Satellarknight matchup, I would definitely side deck this card. I would not main deck it in any situation, because this is not the most common matchup by far. This is going to be your most common matchup. At least it should be. And next card, Shadowmere. These two, they cannot play Shadowmere, it kills them. If you're playing Satellarknight, 3 of this. In your side deck, maybe 2 in the main deck, or 1. I've seen some people main decking this card. I really have mixed feelings about it. It depends on how competitively you're playing all the time. Like, but I suppose if you're using a meta deck, like Satellarknight, you're going to be playing competitively, so I main deck it at maybe 2 or 1, but it's going to be a dead draw versus some matchups. Your rogue matchups, your mirror matchups, Satellarknight, stuff like that. Next up, Prohibition. This is a really overlooked side deck card, and it's actually pretty good. There's decks that kind of depend on single cards. Good versus Satellarknight, because you can just call Deneb, and that turns off their searching and a lot of their plays. Or you can call Altair, but I would call Deneb. You can versus Burning Abyss. You can knock out their tour guides, knock out their Dante, knock out their Scarm, knock out any one of their key cards. Versus Shaddoll, you can knock out their Shaddoll Fusion, all sorts of good stuff. But these guys all have the issue of being vulnerable to MST and stuff like that. But one interesting thing you can do with this, if you're playing, say, Satellarknight, you get this card and this card, you can Prohibition MST, and then play your Shadowmere. And that kind of wins the duel, in all honesty. Next card, Chain Disappearance. Mostly for Burning Abyss, tiny bit for this deck, but not really worth siding versus this deck. So, Chain Disappearance. Really a nice card. If you are scared of your Burning Abyss matchup, I would side this at 3 really, because they summon any of their key cards except Sir, and this does include Dante. It banishes all of him from the extra deck, and that is amazing. To rob your opponent of a bunch of their good cards. And okay, Maxi. I don't like this card this format. I really don't. I would take it out for something else, because you can get like a free +1 or 2 if your opponent activates Shaddoll Fusion. Maybe +1 versus Teller. A little bit versus this, but I really don't like the card for this format, since decks don't really go off that much. Next up, Ally of Justice Cycle Reader. Mostly for this deck, because summon alter target Deneb, activate banish stuff, and this also kind of counts for DD Crow, same principle almost for these two. So this one's a bit more versatile. You can use it against these matchups as well. Flip Falco, target beast, banish beast, stuff like that. And this one, there are still a okay amount of Lightsworn players running around, but honestly, between the two of these, unless you're going to be having pretty huge issues with your Lightsworn and Satellar matchup, I would go with DD Crow over Cycle Reader. Stygian Dirge. Oh yeah, sorry. I think these two are decent side deck cards for this format. Stygian Dirge reduces all levels by 1. So good against these two. An auto side at 2. 2 or 3. Personally, I'm siding it at 3, but I kind of am a bit of an extremist with this card. I have loved it for so long. I was playing it back in the yugioh format. Pretty good card. Do not main deck this. Goes in match. This card is stupid amazing versus this deck, because it says, basically it says they can only go into Alucard. With the ruling, you can't Exceed Summon with, say, Dark Monsters into a Light, so that cuts them off from their entire extra deck but Alucard, and that is devastating. An amazing side deck card for this format if you have a deck of pretty solid attributes, either of these two, really. Rivalry of Warlords. Not particularly good this format, in my opinion. I've seen some people citing it, but it doesn't really come in handy. Unless you're playing somewhere where there's like a ton of Lightsworn matchups, in which case you would probably just side this thing. I would not side this card. And 1 minute, I actually forgot 1 or 2 cards. Okay, anyway. Diffusion. This card is basically exclusively for Shaddoll Mirror match. I would not side it in any other, because you're either going to side this or this, but in Shaddoll Mirror match you don't want non-fusion area, you want diffusion, and there really are some better side deck cards in this. Still, you can side it, it's still a decent card. Non-fusion area, any other deck but Shaddoll Mirror match, or any deck that really uses fusion, it's a way of getting around Shaddoll. Emptiness. You should be main decking this card. Personally, I main deck it at 3 in pretty much every deck I play. Maybe not these guys, because they send cards to the grave a tad bit excessively, and that'll pop your Emptiness pretty quick. But you should have 3 of this scattered throughout your deck somewhere. If you're not playing Burning Abyss, I would be main decking them. Maybe actually 2 in a Burning Abyss side deck, but Emptiness, amazing card for this format. And MST. I see people side decking their MSTs. You should be main decking this, just because people have started to main deck their side deck cards. So you should be main decking your MST. Like maybe main deck 2, side a 3rd, and then people side in the rest of their side deck, you side in more MST. And that is my ban list discussion video for October 2014, and I will be making another one of these. I will be making another one of these if okay, sorry guys, microphone's kind of weird. So, I will be making another one of these once the next set, New Challengers comes out, and once New Challengers comes out, there will be Quillforts added into the mix, and Virgil. Is Virgil here? Here, but if I just search here. I can't even spell. I did it. Yeah, I don't think Virgil's here. Nope, and stay gone, Virgil. Virgil, that card is disgusting. So, that is my side deck for October 2014. Hope you guys enjoyed. Like, comment, subscribe, and could we possibly aim to get 1 like on this video? Just because I kind of want to like. That would be the first like I've gotten on this channel. Alright guys, bye.